All right.
All right, so I will introduce Solomon. He, in addition to being the Peace Fellow for our District 6250, Solomon is the founder and executive director of Development Associates for Young Africans, formerly Destined Youth Initiative Kenya, which is a national NGO that prioritizes peace building through economic empowerment. He leads a vibrant team of 20 volunteers supporting more than 3,000 youth annually in areas of economic empowerment, job creation in poor, rural, and urban Kenya. He is a Peace Fellow graduate from Chulalongkorn University, Thailand, last year in 2020. And Solomon is passionate about empowering women and youth in poor communities. So I will turn it over to Solomon. Thanks for joining us.
Wow. Thank you, Erin, for that wonderful introduction. It's very nice to meet all of you. Good afternoon to everyone. I am so delighted to talk to you this afternoon. Here in Kenya, it is 8:44 p.m. and I want to thank you all for accepting me to be part of you this afternoon. My special thanks goes to Erin West for continuously having this conversation to enable me talk to you. And so thank you so much, Erin. I will not forget Lynn. Lynn has been a pillar in my personal development because when I wanted to join Rotary Peace Fellowship, I looked at a club in Kenya that could have endorsed me for the International Rotary International Peace Fellowship, but I couldn't find one in Kenya, so that I had an at-large endorsement, and Lynn worked with me from the beginning of the writing of that application to the interview to the time that I was accepted to go to Thailand. And she became that pillar until today. She's kept on following what I'm doing, and I'm so happy, Lynn, for that kind of a support, and thank you so much. I want also to thank everyone here who is now in to listen to this conversation, and may God bless you so much. I know America is a great country that believes in God, and I am so happy for that, and congratulations for everything that is happening in the United States right now. Just as Irina said, that my name is Solomon Odero. I'm the founder and director of Destined Youth Initiative Kenya, formerly but currently Development Associate for Young Africans. And we work in Kenya. And just before I proceed, I will request that I can share my screen so that we can learn some of the things that we're doing. Catherine Hughes is here with me. She's my colleague. We were with her in Thailand and we've remained friends, and she's part of the board at Development Associate for Young African, and she's here just to support us in the work that we're doing. So thank you so much, Catherine. So if we can share, I can share the screen, I will appreciate so that we can.
Yep, you should be able to just do it, share screen at the bottom of your.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And Solomon, I'll just mention, I don't know whether you can see it on the second page, but Andrew Stone joined us as well. And he's also a class 28 Chula, what we call COVID class. We had to come back a little bit early, but he's also a colleague of ours and has been working a lot on some of these projects with us as well.
And coincidentally, I grew up in Mount Horeb and I'm there right now. So happy to be here.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm sharing a video so that we can just shortly listen to what we're doing. I don't know whether you're able to see that video.
Yep, we see it and hear.
We have community educators who have been in the forefront of fighting this virus in Kenya, because we realized that the most important ways of fighting coronavirus is one, wearing masks and wearing them properly. And therefore, our appeal right now, especially to our friends internationally and locally, is to ask for support so that we can produce masks. Our Excellence Center has been producing more than 10,000 masks. To create peace during COVID-19 pandemic, we link youth to digital opportunities where they can work online to earn some money.
I'd like to thank Dave for giving me this sponsorship, and I'd like to urge every other guy to come and try this initiative because it's helpful. Together we just finished. She taught me entrepreneurship classes. After the entrepreneurship classes I graduated, now I'm ready to start a business.
We are appealing for partnership and support to continue training more youth and community members to be in the forefront in the fight against COVID-19 and create employment opportunities and to be peace ambassadors in Kenya. Thank you so much for watching that. So I will now get to sharing a different down slide so that we can learn more about what we're doing. So thank you so much. So as you've heard from the discussion on the people whom we have impacted their lives. So let me just shortly go back to where we started. I'm sure you are able to see this. Okay. So we are running a project in Kenya. It's called Sustainable Economic Empowerment in Kenya, and it's being implemented by Destined Youth Initiative, or Day Development Associate for Young African in Kenya. And just before this one, how did we end up here? First of all, I am a Rotary Peace Fellow and in Thailand in 2020. And there you can see me, that is in Thailand. I went to Thailand in January, on 12th January 2020. And then we stayed there for 3 months. And unfortunately, COVID-19 came. And so they call us the COVID-19 class of 2020. So we had to cut short our class because of the pandemic, and all of us were to run back to our various homes just to, to ensure that we are safe. With me is my counselor. So the moment you get to the Rotary Peace Fellowship in a country like Thailand, the Rotary International, working together with the local clubs, appoints some specific persons to take care of Peace Fellows when they come. So with me in the next slide is, in that slide you'll see JP, Jean-Pierre was my counselor who ensured that I was safe every time when I was in Thailand. And each and every fellow also had their own counselor every time they were there. So Catherine had one, I had one, and Andy had one. It was an amazing learning experience. I met so many people in Thailand from different areas. Some of them from Australia, from Europe, from America, and we learned from each other, and we also made a friendship from that Peace Fellowship. Not only learning a meeting, but also having a good understanding on how we can build peace in various places that we are coming from, south, west, and also south in different terms of collaboration. We graduated in March, and here is me now when we were now graduating. Normally, we are supposed to graduate when everyone is there. You could be able to invite some people to come and join you in Thailand or wherever you are. Unfortunately, this time it was not possible for us to invite. So we were graduating only those who were there, the Peace Fellows and the center management team in Thailand. So here, this was the last day that we were being presented by certificate and was awarded this certificate in peace and conflict transformation. Back to the work that we're doing. So what problems are affecting us? Why did we have to start a youth economic and women economic empowerment in Kenya? We have several problems that are affecting our country right now, like low level of education, where their majority have only secondary school certificates and they are not able to get jobs. And two, we have girls and women who are more vulnerable, single men, they are married at a very tender age. This also makes them not be able to be more employable. We have lack of better places for children to play, and therefore their mothers also cannot be able to leave them back at home. So you find that whenever they're looking for opportunities or somewhere they can get something to do, they have to carry their children, those who are 3 months old, 5 months old, 1 year, so that they can go and look for employment opportunity with them. It becomes a very tedious work for young women. The environments where these children are very filthy, like what you can see on that video, on that photo. These are some of the children in Kibera informal settlement. So Kibera informal settlement is one of the biggest slums or informal settlement in Africa, and generally the biggest in Kenya. So a lot of challenges that are affecting them. Abandonment and rejection by family members, early marriages. Once someone is pregnant, like if a girl gets pregnant at the age of 13, 14, 15, then they have to be forced to get married at an early age just because no one is ready to take care of them, and their parents are not now ready to take care of them because they believe that they are now mothers and they cannot continue like that. We have issues to do with the transactional sex for young girls to see how they can get money to feed their families. And this one leads to HIV and AIDS in Kibera and around Lake Victoria, that is in the western part of the country. Power imbalance between women and youth. Most of people in Kenya, you see the male are dominating everything in terms of job creation, in terms of political space. And so women do not have much chances of making even decision, even at their local level and the community level. Even owning a property is not possible for most of women in the rural areas and also in the informal settlement. No ownership of properties, lack of safe spaces for women and youth to learn new skills, so therefore leave them more vulnerable, and lack of strategic policies from by the government, especially for employment opportunities for women and youths in Kibera. So we have come up with programs to ensure that such kind of problems are solved in one way or the other. So one of the key programs that we are running in Kenya right now is employment and employability skills training and linkages to employment. This is a 1 month training, so 2 weeks for employment creation and also 2 weeks for entrepreneurship skills training. So we divide these people, these young women, between the age of 15 to 35. So those who want to start some businesses are trained on entrepreneurship skills, given some small setup, then they're able to run their businesses. As you've seen in the video that I've just shown you, those are some of the girls we have trained, and they're able to start their own businesses from the skills that they've learned from us. Now, there are those who are really interested in working, but they do not know where they can get such kind of employment. So we talk with the companies who can be able to employ them. And for 2 weeks, once they have the basic skills, because you'll realize that some of these young women and young youths do not even know how to take an interview. So even when they get to the job interview, they're not able to express themselves, and they will come back and say that, oh, we were not able to secure this such kind of jobs. So this is what we do. We also have microfarming for young women in the community, especially in the rural communities where we work in the western part of the country. so that we use farming as microfarming is a way of creating employment opportunities for these women, where their husbands have some chunks of land, but because they don't have powers to negotiate, so we come in between to negotiate between the husbands and the wives to give them some piece of land where they can start growing some food crops. Like right now we're doing soybean farming, so and we look for market to enable these women get some money for their own use. And also we have the final program is digital and computer skill training. Most of these women, again, in the informal settlement do not have opportunity to learn much. They don't have skills for computers, and most of the work that people are doing currently is computer based. So we have set up a computer center at our excellence center in the informal settlement, where these women come and they learn those computer skills, and also we provide them with some link them with some employment opportunities within the center, where they can do some data entry jobs within that center. So those are the 4 programs that we're running now. Last year in 2020, even amid the COVID-19 pandemic, we were able to support 2,760 youth in different parts of Nairobi, where we're working to train them on entrepreneurship and employability skills. So where you can see Kibera is the slum, the largest informal settlement I've just talked about. We were able to train 637 people. Thika is another slum just next to Nairobi. It's in Kiambu County. The next, just adjacent to Nairobi, we're able to train 480 young women and youth. Korogosho is another, is the 3rd largest informal settlement in Kenya. Places. So in general, we were able to reach out to these 2,760 young women with the entrepreneurship employability skills during the year that ended in 2020. An example of the success story of what we do to create peace. One thing that we have realized is that when young women do not have the opportunity to bring some income in their families, there's a lot of fight between those who are married. For example, the girl you're seeing here, this lady is 18 years old, Praxidis. She got pregnant when she was just around 15, 16. She was just away from the family, and the mother could not take care of her because she thought now she's more responsible. And the person who impregnated her also ran away, and she was left without any other way to survive. So her survival became very difficult. And so a friend of hers whom she was staying with introduced her to transactional sex. This one she did for some times, and she realized that this is not the thing that she wanted to do. And she learned about our program from another friend whom she was seeing was living a better kind of a life. So she came into our program last year in 2020, and she was trained in tailoring and dressmaking. You saw when we were making masks previously in the year 2020, when just COVID came. So we were trying to see how can we support the community, because masks were not available, and they were very expensive. And therefore, we started a program with the support from clubs, especially the clubs in Oregon district, Oregon, and specifically Portland Club. We were able to set up an excellence center where these girls were trained on dressmaking, tailoring, sewing of masks, and she's been able to work with us and gain some money. So we not only make the masks, but we also make some bags, these ladies' bags, backpacks, and sell them. And whatever comes in is used to pay them directly so that they can be sustainable. By that, we are creating peace in the community, because they are now not going back to their families where there is a lot of fights, and why haven't you brought something that we can eat in the house, where their parents can chase them, their boyfriends are not taking care of them, and sees them as people who are not bringing anything. So this excellence center is able to provide such kind of women like Braxidis, who has now been working with us from March from around May, June last year to date, and she's very, very happy. She's gained enough experience in this work that she's doing and thus creating peace. This lady, you saw her, we trained her on entrepreneurship, and she was able to start her own roadside French fry business, where she's able to cook these French fries and sell for people who are passing by the roads. And she has also a child who is very young. Unfortunately, she was defiled when she was 15 years old as well, with someone whom she was staying with, and this was her cousin, because she had to move. She lost her parents, and she had to move and stay with the relatives. Unfortunately, she got defiled, and she became pregnant, and now she didn't have something to do. So she was traumatized several times, and she learned about our program again. She joined, we trained her, and with some little money we had also, we were able to support her to start this small enterprise. And currently she's even, she has started some other businesses like selling charcoal around the place where she is. She added some eggs around what she's doing, and she's a very happy woman right now. The child has grown now, old enough, and she's able to even pay her own rent and school fees. For this child. When she comes to work, at least the child can be left at daycare. These ladies you're seeing next to me, that is me on that photo, are some of the girls we have trained on employment opportunity, and we link them with the employment opportunity to do some data entry jobs, and they are very happy just next to me. And so that is what we also do with these young ladies in the informal settlement. Moving forward, I mentioned about microfarming, and we realized that women, again, in the rural areas are also marginalized. Their husbands do not give them ownership of land and such kind of time. So you find most of the time they strangles, there are fights between women and their husbands who owns the land. We came up with the program of microfarming, and this microfarming, we train them on the best ways they do farming on their own in a very small piece of land, negotiating between them and their husband to just provide them with a small section of the land where they can grow their own crops, and we link them with the market so that they become more independent, thus creating peace. So here we were there training them on how to grow soybeans, women and some youth. And that bag that you're seeing here is a storage bag where we are also showing them to come. So sometimes you might see old people in these pictures. This is a situation whereby their sons or their daughters or their youths are not available. Maybe they have gone back to school, but the parents now stand in for them and receive the input for them. And when they come, they grow with them together, so that during the harvesting time, they know that it is their responsibility, so that they can go back and do the farming as a way of creating employment for themselves. Here is me and this old mzee, giving him some of the inputs that we bought for them by support we got from Portland Rotary Club in the US, provide them with the seedlings. These are seeds for soybeans. These are some of the women also on my left-hand side whom we have also provided with soybeans to grow so that they can become economically independent. Here in this picture, we are demonstrating for them on how they are supposed to grow such soybeans, so that this is our agronomist, a young person whom we have been working with to ensure that women are able to grow this soybean in the best way possible, so that the produce is better. When we come with the buyers, they're able to get value for their time and value for the money that we are putting in this project. This is a class where we train young women and men. So this is a class, they are in class and learning about entrepreneurship skills and employability skills in our Excellence Center in Kibera. This is after they've just completed their class, posing for a photo in Kibera. And this is me during a graduation session, just giving them a talk before we present them with the certificate. So the certificate that we are giving them, they're able to go out there and use it to even get employment opportunities, despite the fact that we are also supporting them and ensuring that we just don't train. We ensure that we link them to opportunities around. And so here we are presenting them with the certificates and they're posing for photos. This is about 3 weeks ago when we graduated a class in Kibera. Then lastly is the digital skills and computer skills. So this is our computer lab, which we set up just very recently to ensure that these women are able to have a safe space where they can work, because they don't have computers at home. There are some jobs that can be done online. And so this is a place where they can come with even their children. We have a separate space for children just to rest when their mothers are doing something during the working period, and so that they don't disturb their parents at this center. So it's running and operational. Currently, we have 50 students who have registered for computer classes. It's something that we started recently, but we have seen a good uptake of the computer classes, because most of them are just yearning for such kind of opportunities. And in the whole, in this whole informal settlement, not everyone is able to get to this. And we are doing this one for right now for free. So that they are able to support themselves, because they might not be able to get money to pay for the computer course. And once they've been trained and they're able to learn to type well, then we link them with the data entry jobs at the center. Still, we have partnered with another organization who are giving us some data entry jobs, and we give them where they can be paid at least $5. Yes, $5 per day when they do this work. And so far we are we're just running a campaign as well to equip this computer center so that it can have more computers. Right now we have only 10 computers in this room, and we're looking for 20 more so that we can train 100 and give 50% of them employment opportunities. And we've been running a campaign just to ensure that our peace initiative through economic empowerment is more effective by bringing in more computers, bringing in more women and youth, so that they can find a safe space. The lady you're seeing seated in these two computers, one of them on the left-hand side has faced a lot of gender-based violence at home. During the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, she has not been able to provide food for the child and for the husband. And the husband is a drunkard. And every day the husband goes out, comes back in the evening and comes, start quarrels and picks up quarrels. For her. And therefore, each and every night, problems, but fortunately she's found a safe haven in our center, where she comes and learn and be able to get some payment and go back to support the husband, who is not being so supportive in terms of getting some money to feed the family. So this is the kind of a job that this center does to women and young people in Kibera. So far, this campaign we are running, we are running it on a GoFundMe page to have at least $3,000 to purchase 20 refurbished computers, install them, and train at least these 100 women, and also give 50% of them opportunity to work with us throughout in this center. And so far we have raised up to 2,235, and we have about a deficit of 175, so that we can make this center fully equipped as a center of excellence, where women have a safe space and a good working environment, and they can earn money and start going back to the community to be more safer Yeah, so not only that one, we also introduced the hand washing because of in the informal settlement, especially Kibera, where we're working. People is not able, the social distancing is not is something which is very easy. So you find people struggling to keep social distancing. It's not possible. But so the best thing we could have done is provide them with the hand washing stations. These are foot press and washing station where we designed it by ourselves. We did it by ourselves, and we gave it to like this woman to operate it so that she's able to educate community in terms of COVID-19 prevention measures. So we have 30 of them, community educators, who just educate communities on how they can wash their hands so that they are safe during this COVID-19 pandemic in the informal settlement. Yeah, so that is what we do in terms of economic empowerment and how we just support young people and women in the informal settlement in Kibera, informal settlement, and other places in the rural areas. So this is going back to what I have learned again in Thailand. When I went to Thailand, I learned a lot of skills when I was there, and when I came back, it was so necessary for me to give back to the community, and that is what we are doing right now to support the communities to create peace in in my village. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Solomon. That was a great presentation. Does anybody, I know we're close to time end here, but does anybody have a quick question? Maybe one question they'd like to ask Solomon before we close today?
Could I ask if there is a donation location? Do we just need to search for the GoFundMe page?
Jenny, I just posted it earlier in the link, and I'll post it again because I think we've been having a really good discussion, so it moved. Let me just cut and paste that and put it for you again.
I'll just read through the chat. But what a wonderful program, so comprehensive,
Yes.
so thoughtful of what people need and meeting them where they are. Kudos to you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for doing what you do.
Tara, could
Thank
you
you.
put that up in the in a link for us? The GoFundMe.
The GoFundMe here? Sure,
Yeah,
absolutely.
put it just in the chat so it stays, so we all see it.
Yeah, it doesn't have the HTTP in front of it, but I think I can.
No, it just cut and pasted. I just tested it. I think it works. But as Solomon said, we've had a lot of outpouring for support and a lot of Rotarians actually around the world have helped support this individually. So if you feel so called, it would be great. And he mentioned the amount to make the first goal, which was $2,500, but things have been so great that we're probably going to expand it to that $3,000 goal. He's got the Excellence Center in the Nairobi area, which is building the computers. As we get the money, we transfer it to his account and he buys them and installs them immediately. So it's a really kind of like, emergency thing, and it's happening right now. And then there's centers in Lake Victoria that he talked about that we'll be building and that he'll be stocking as well. So it's a great way for them to get immediate income as they're trained in a safe area. And they have childcare there and domestic violence counseling and resources. So it's really an amazing job that Solomon and his team there are doing.
Thanks, Catherine, and really thanks to Solomon for your presentation and all the work that you're doing.
Yes, thank you,
so
Solomon.
much.
Our club does make a donation to the End Polio Now campaign for Rotary International on behalf of all of our speakers for your time and your presentation today. So thank you again. Erin, who are we going to be hearing from next week?
Sure, thanks, Tara. So our speaker next week is going to be Sherry Storm, and she is a Rotarian from Washington, and she's going to be talking to us about how to work together when you can't be together, which hopefully will not be for much longer. We can get back together in person soon. But thanks again, Solomon, Catherine, and everyone for joining us today. See you next week.
Thank you so much,
everybody.
Erin. Bye-bye.